The digital age thrives on connectivity. We crave it. We need it. And what's more alluring than the promise of free Wi-Fi? But beneath this veneer of convenience lurks a danger. A cyber mirage awaits the unwary, ready to ensnare them in a web of deception. This is the story of that deception. It unfolds in the digital shadows and bustling airports of Australia. Personal data, privacy, and security hang in the balance. In Perth, Australia, Marcus Reed, a phantom in the digital world, plotted his course. He saw the world's insatiable appetite for free Wi-Fi as a vulnerability. Airports, with their constant flow of travelers, were his hunting grounds. He set up fake Wi-Fi access points, starting with free_airport_Wi-Fi. His success in Perth emboldened him, and he replicated his scheme in Melbourne and Adelaide. Travelers moved through Australia's airports, seeking connection. Their devices scanned the airwaves and found free_airport_Wi-Fi. Many clicked connect without a second thought. Marcus watched from the shadows, his digital snare tightening. Users entered their details through a convincing captive portal, unaware they were feeding a monster. Every keystroke entered into the captive portal flowed directly to Marcus. He watched as emails, passwords, and credit card details scrolled across his screen. He sold login credentials on the dark web and used credit card details to fund his lifestyle. Each stolen email and compromised account shielded him from the law. Marcus reveled in his digital conquests, seeing himself as a modern-day Robin Hood. Marcus's reign of digital terror was about to encounter a glitch. An airline employee noticed a discrepancy in the network name free_airline_Wi-Fi. They reported it to the airline's cybersecurity team. This small act of vigilance set off a chain reaction. The cybersecurity team initiated an investigation, determined to uncover the truth. The case reached the Australian Federal Police and Detective Inspector Emma Collins. Collins had a keen sense for tracking down digital predators. The case of the rogue Wi-Fi network piqued her interest. Collins assembled her team of forensic analysts and cybersecurity experts. They began analyzing the data collected by the airline's cybersecurity team. Every action in the digital world leaves a trace. Collins and her team meticulously followed the trail of data. They analyzed the rogue Wi-Fi network's configuration and the captive portal's code. They followed the data trail through servers, proxies, and VPNs. The digital footprints were becoming clearer, leading them closer to Marcus Reed. The investigation pointed towards a specific region in Western Australia. Collins and her team traced the rogue Wi-Fi network to a series of IP addresses. They uncovered a pattern of transactions linked to Marcus Reed. The net was closing in, and Marcus's defenses were being breached. Collins knew they were in the final stages of their pursuit. Collins and her team arrived at a nondescript apartment building in Perth. The raid was swift and precise. Collins made her way to a makeshift home office filled with electronics. The evidence was overwhelming. With stolen data and the captive portal interface on display, the phantom had been unmasked and the digital mirage had evaporated. The silence of the Perth morning was shattered by a knock on Marcus Reed's door. Inside, Marcus was engrossed in his digital domain. The knock came again, more insistent. Before he could react, the door burst open, and the Australian Federal Police surged in. The net had tightened, and Marcus Reed found himself staring down the barrel of justice. The weight of the evidence against Marcus was overwhelming, a digital dragnet meticulously woven from months of tireless investigation. The air in the apartment crackled with the silent testimony of countless victims, their stolen data echoing through the room like ghostly whispers. Collins, her expression a mask of professional detachment, surveyed the scene, her eyes missing nothing. On the desk, amidst a tangle of wires and blinking LEDs, lay the instruments of Marcus's crimes: laptops, hard drives, and networking equipment, all meticulously catalogued and bagged as evidence. The digital fingerprints he thought he had erased, the trails he believed he had obfuscated, were laid bare. each byte a silent testament to his betrayal of trust. The sheer volume of stolen data was staggering. Passwords, credit card numbers, personal emails, intimate photographs, the digital lives of countless individuals laid bare and vulnerable, their privacy violated, their sense of security shattered. Each file, each folder was a testament to the human cost of Marcus's crimes, a stark reminder that behind the anonymity of the internet lay real people, their lives upended by his callous disregard. As the officers meticulously combed through the apartment, each piece of evidence added another brick to the wall of the prosecution's case, a wall that grew higher and more insurmountable with each passing moment. Marcus, once so confident in his anonymity, now found himself trapped in a digital prison of his own making, the weight of his crimes pressing down on him with suffocating force. The sterile environment of the courtroom stood in stark contrast to the digital battleground where Marcus Reed had once reigned supreme. Gone were the flickering screens, the comforting glow of the monitor, the anonymity of the internet. Here, bathed in the harsh glare of fluorescent lights, he was just another defendant, stripped of his digital armor, his fate hanging in the balance. The prosecution's case was a methodical dismantling of Marcus's carefully constructed facade. Witnesses, their voices trembling with a mixture of anger and vulnerability, recounted their experiences, their stories weaving a tapestry of deceit, betrayal, and loss. They spoke of compromised bank accounts, stolen identities, and the chilling realization that their most private moments had been laid bare in the digital ether. Expert witnesses, their voices resonating with authority, dissected Marcus's code, tracing the intricate pathways of his deception, exposing the sophisticated techniques he had employed to lure unsuspecting victims into his web. The evidence, presented with cold, clinical precision, painted a damning picture of a calculated criminal mind, a predator who had exploited the trust and vulnerability of others for personal gain. Through it all, Marcus sat impassively in the dock, his face a mask of indifference. Whether it was a calculated act of defiance or a desperate attempt to cling to the last vestiges of his shattered ego, no one could say for sure. But behind the mask, one could almost detect a flicker of fear, a dawning realization that the digital walls he had erected around himself were crumbling, and the consequences of his actions were about to come crashing down upon him. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as the jury filed back into the box, their faces etched with the weight of their deliberations. Marcus, his face pale and drawn, sat rigidly in the dock. The jury foreman delivered the verdict, guilty on all counts. For Marcus, the verdict was a blow, confirming his reign of digital terror had ended. The judge sentenced Marcus to a significant term of imprisonment. As Marcus was led away, his shoulders slumped, his gaze fixed on the floor. Marcus Reed's case served as a stark reminder of the dangers in the digital world. The courtroom fell silent as the gavel slammed down, signaling the end of Marcus Reed's trial. Justice had been served, but the echoes of his deception reverberated far beyond the confines of the courtroom walls. Detective Inspector Emma Collins, her expression a mixture of satisfaction and lingering unease, knew that this victory, however significant, was just one battle in a much larger war. The cyber world, vast and ever-evolving, was a breeding ground for individuals like Marcus, drawn to the allure of anonymity and the potential for illicit gain. The case had exposed a chilling truth, the vulnerability of the digital age. In a world increasingly reliant on connectivity, where personal information flowed freely across invisible airwaves, the potential for exploitation was immense. Marcus had merely scratched the surface of what was possible, a sobering thought that weighed heavily on Collins's mind. The public, for the most part, remained blissfully unaware of the dangers lurking beneath the surface of their digital lives. They clicked on links without a second thought, connected to unsecured networks with reckless abandon, and surrendered their personal information to faceless entities without a hint of suspicion. This digital naivete, Collins realized, was a predator's paradise. It was imperative to educate the public, to empower them with the knowledge and tools they needed to navigate the digital world safely and responsibly. The echoes of Marcus's deception, she resolved, would serve as a wake-up call, a stark reminder that in the digital age, vigilance was not just a virtue, but a necessity. Detective Inspector Emma Collins faced the daunting task of raising awareness about cybercrime. The public was bombarded with conflicting and confusing information. Collins embarked on a nationwide campaign to educate the public, She spoke at schools, community centers, and corporate events. She stressed strong passwords, dangers of public Wi-Fi, and vigilance against phishing scams. Her message was simple: cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. The public began to pay attention and take proactive steps. The legacy of Marcus Reed's cybercrime spree extended far beyond the prison walls that now confined him. His case served as a catalyst, a stark reminder that the digital world, for all its convenience and connectivity, was not without its perils. The cyber mirage he had so carefully constructed had shattered, revealing the very real dangers lurking beneath the surface of the digital realm. In the wake of his arrest and conviction, governments, businesses, and individuals alike began to reevaluate their approach to cybersecurity. Law enforcement agencies, recognizing the growing threat posed by cybercriminals, ramped up their efforts to combat digital crime, investing in new technologies and training programs to stay one step ahead of the ever-evolving tactics of online predators. Businesses, large and small, acknowledged the vulnerability of their systems and the importance of protecting sensitive data. They implemented stricter security protocols, invested in employee training programs, and partnered with cybersecurity firms to fortify their digital defenses. Individuals, empowered by Collins's awareness campaign and the lessons learned from Marcus's case, began to take a more proactive approach to their own online safety. They adopted stronger passwords, installed antivirus software, and educated themselves about the latest phishing scams. The Cyber Mirage, though born of deception and malice, had inadvertently sparked a revolution in cybersecurity awareness. It had forced the world to confront the uncomfortable truth that in the digital age, security was not a luxury, but a necessity. The battle against cybercrime is an ongoing one, a perpetual game of cat and mouse between those who seek to exploit vulnerabilities and those who strive to protect the digital realm. But the legacy of Marcus Reed's case, the echoes of his deception, and the lessons learned from his downfall had a profound impact on the cybersecurity landscape. A new era of awareness had dawned, one where individuals, businesses, and governments alike recognized the importance of cybersecurity and the need for collective action to combat the ever-evolving threat of cybercrime. The world had awakened to the reality that in the digital age, security was not just about protecting data, it was about protecting people. The Cyber Mirage, though a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities of the digital age, had also illuminated the path towards a safer, more secure online world. It had sparked a global conversation about cybersecurity, fostering collaboration, innovation, and a shared commitment to safeguarding the digital realm. The journey towards a truly secure digital future is a long and arduous one, but the steps taken in the wake of Marcus Reed's downfall had set the world on a course towards a brighter, more resilient digital horizon. The saga of Marcus Reed, the architect of the Cyber Mirage, served as a stark reminder that the digital world, for all its wonders and possibilities, was not without its perils. The echoes of his deception, the countless lives touched by his crimes, served as a catalyst for change, a wake-up call to a world often oblivious to the unseen dangers lurking beneath the surface of their digital lives. In the aftermath of his downfall, a new era of awareness dawned, a collective realization that cybersecurity was not just the responsibility of tech experts and law enforcement agencies, but a shared responsibility, a digital frontier where everyone had a role to play. The battle against cybercrime, however, was far from over. It was, in essence, a perpetual struggle, a constant game of cat and mouse between those who sought to exploit vulnerabilities and those who dedicated themselves to protecting the digital realm. As technology advanced, so too did the tactics of cybercriminals, their methods becoming more sophisticated, their reach expanding with each passing day. The Cyber Mirage, once a solitary threat, had spawned countless imitators, each seeking to capitalize on the trust, the complacency, the inherent human desire for connection that made the digital world both a marvel and a vulnerability. Yet, amidst the ever-evolving threat, there was hope. The legacy of Marcus Reed's case, the lessons learned from his downfall, had ignited a spark of awareness, a global conversation about cybersecurity that transcended borders and united individuals, businesses, and governments in a shared mission to create a safer, more secure digital world.